You're struggling to get streams even though you're consistently putting out great sounding music. Why is that? You spend hours and hours producing it, months obsessing over gear and new plugins, visuals, and perfecting every tiny detail of your music. But it's almost as if it doesn't really matter. The reality is this: great music is important, but great music that nobody hears changes nothing. So if I had to start a music career from zero today, this is exactly what I would do to make sure I get my music to the right people and build a loyal audience. The first thing I would do might seem very obvious at first, but it's something that barely happens, which is to make the best music I possibly could, but with as little as I can. At this stage, I wouldn't spend thousands on gear or invest heavily in music production. And I say this as someone that worked as a music producer and audio engineer, because I've seen so many talented artists spend too much money in music production and audio services just for their music to stay invisible. At the same time, I definitely wouldn't wait until everything was perfect to put myself out there, because at the beginner stage, your enemy isn't quality. Most artists don't need another plugin or piece of gear, you just need to get started and get real-world experience and feedback. So I'm not saying your music quality doesn't matter, you should still try to make the best music you possibly can, keep learning and improving your craft over time, but don't let perfection become an excuse and avoid delaying your growth just because you don't feel like you're ready. I can assure you that music quality matters little to people who resonate with your message. So what matters is that they do find you, you put yourself in front of the right people, and then you start building from there. To put myself out there, platforms like Instagram and TikTok, I'll say it might be, are the most reliable and actionable approaches to building an audience. So this would be my biggest priority. With social media, you can post as many times as you want to as many people as there are on the platform, and it's free, you don't need a lot of time to do it, and you can start today. With social media, your career is in your hands, so I wouldn't wait until I have enough songs or better content ideas. I would just get started. Do some market research to understand what other people are doing, dedicate some time preparing a few videos and building my own content strategy. Then commit to posting 1 reel per day or at least 5 reels per week. But here's the key. I wouldn't just post random content. There needs to be a consistent connection between your music, your story, and creative process. Because content is the bridge between your music and the people who might become your fans. So it needs to be authentic, and the sooner you start learning the skill, the faster you'll get good at it and start seeing results. Another thing I would do, and this is often overlooked by most artists, is cold outreach. Whether it's through email or social media, doesn't really matter, but it's important to understand why you should do it. So the music industry is all about connections and networking. The more people you know, the more opportunities you'll have, and that's how growth happens. So I would spend a few hours every single week reaching out to music producers, another artists, audio engineers, or literally anyone operating in the same ecosystem. Not to promote my music, but to build relationships. Because when you first reach out, it will be just like someone randomly trying to connect. But think about how many of those people could eventually become interested in you and your music. Not to mention that music people are usually very supportive. So even if you send 1000 messages and only get 10 replies, if 5 of those people end up liking you, they will share your music to their audience at some point. And this becomes even better as they also grow their audiences. So I would say that networking is essential, and it's one of the highest return of investment activities you can do as a creative. Because even though it can take up some of your time, it's free and it compounds over time. And here's something most musicians don't want to hear. Your next fan is probably not going to discover you from Spotify. They're going to discover you through content, through a recommendation, a collaboration, or another creator. And that's why outreach matters so much. Here's where getting people to stream your music starts becoming a priority. Blogs and Spotify playlists are the best ways to build streams when you're just getting started, even if those streams don't convert to engaged listeners. So I'll start researching playlist curators and relevant music blogs that are aligned with my music genre and style, then build a spreadsheet with any relevant information. Keep updating it as you find new contacts or opportunities, then start reaching out consistently and keep track of any relevant interactions. Trust me, it will become one of your best long-term assets. And I don't mean it as spamming, because you want to make sure you're not just sending generic messages that will get ignored. Here, you need to actually take time to understand who you're talking to and why you're relevant to them, because you never know what might happen. And even though one playlist placement won't change your life, dozens of small opportunities stuck together can get you some momentum. There's also a chance you might get a major placement, so it's important you get to know music curators and keep pitching to playlists or relevant blogs, because there are opportunities you might miss otherwise. Ads are also a great way to build streams, but here you don't hone the audience and it can get very costly very fast. So at the beginning, I would just be focused on learning how ad works, what audiences respond to, and what ideas perform best before going all in and focusing on results. Because your first campaign is not likely to work, but the value gained through experience will become very valuable in the future. But in my opinion, building a loyal audience doesn't happen through ads, although there's always a chance this could work for you. I just wouldn't make it a priority. Detaching yourself from expectations could also be very useful, because building a music career is a long game. And if you understand that, you realize that consistency matters more than anything else. So by focusing on the process instead of the outcome, it becomes that much easier to stay consistent even though the results are not what you would expect. So I wouldn't set specific goals for things or metrics that I can't control, like getting 10k followers in 3 months or 100,000 monthly listeners in Spotify under 6 months, but rather focus on what I can do, which are things like releasing one song every month, post every day on social media, or reaching out to music curators and pitching to Spotify playlists. An email list is another thing creators massively underestimate. But if I was starting today, I would start collecting emails as soon as possible. Even if it's only a few people at first, it doesn't matter because there you own the audience. So it makes it easier to promote new releases, get pre-saves, and even sell products or launch projects. It's one of the most valuable assets a creator can build and shouldn't by any means be overlooked. So if I was starting my music career today, my focus wouldn't just be making music. It would be building attention, relationships, and showing up every single day. Because in today's music industry, great music alone isn't enough anymore. You also need to learn how to navigate the industry and get your music to the right people without waiting for someone to help you. But if you're serious about your music and you need someone to guide you through building a loyal audience, then I also work one-on-one to help music brands build their audiences through content and creative direction. You can find out more using the link in the description. If you like this video, don't forget to leave your like so it reaches other people, and subscribe for more videos about building an audience for your music. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.